Hello, Emily. Welcome back to me. I am a memoir, the meaning of Mariah Carey, and we are listening to Caution, the 2018 album. We're halfway through, and we've got heaps of ridiculous bonus tracks to go. So let's get straight back into it and keep breaking me on down.
On to the next track, Stay Long, Love You. I can never say this. Stay Long, Love You. Feat Gunner, written by Mariah, Gunner, and the Stereotypes. What do we feel about the saying of the longing of the loving of the you?
This is weird for Mariah to be almost it all hook, not much else, which I kind of love, if that makes sense. Like, Mariah just going, you make me wanna.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch you
right there.
Places.
Kiss you over there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know
like,
what that is.
I love the repetition. I love the. Okay. You don't love it?
I hadn't thought about it that way. It's not that. Yeah, the feature feels a little more present than some of the other features that have been on this one. Even though I think the enunciation is insulting, but I think there's something about it that it's maybe a little bit for me like One More Again, in just that it's like, this is not a bad song. I have no issue with it. This is probably a little hookier, like you said, than One More Again from you. But I think at this point, maybe because I've really liked some of the other songs, it's not standing out.
Right.
If that makes sense. So I don't know. It might just need some more listens.
You make me wanna.
But you know what? It could actually be some of that came across to me as, or someone's sampled Mariah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was something about it that
sampling
maybe
herself.
didn't.
Yeah, because there's the high voice that's like sampled kind of right at the start as well.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe it felt a little bit like someone else has stepped into the production of it. She's still very present, so it's not like it doesn't feel like she's the feature. Maybe where I loved that repetition on something like Meteorite, I didn't quite warm to it here.
Oh, no, I liked this one. I love the you make me wanna.
Yeah, no, I don't think I love that bit, to be honest. I think I like the other.
That's
like
the whole
touch
song.
No, I like the touchy right there part. I don't think I like the
right
make me wanna.
You make me wanna kiss you over there. You make me wanna. Yeah. The other thing with this song is that, as far as album placement goes, it's perfectly placed because we've had a few songs that are kind of feeling a bit dangerous, feeling a little bit melancholy, and then we just get some pure pop. We just get some crazy, repetitive, hooky pop, and it's fun.
The title I can get confused about because obviously I can't say it. So maybe that's what it is. If I can't say the title, I can't enjoy the song.
Stay long, love you.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why. So yeah, look, I gave it a little higher, but One More Again. So I'd given One More Again 4. I gave this 4.25.
Yeah, this is just on the cusp of infinity. Like it's fun and it's silly. It's just
On to the next track, which is the last track from the standard edition.
Yes.
Which is Portrait, written by Mariah and Daniel Moore II. Pretty sure Daniel's our man, the pianist, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
This is an interesting one. I definitely feel like it's our Mariah standard introspective final song.
Yes.
And I do think it is a nice sort of what's the word, like a punctuation production wise. In terms of like, it does feel like, this is where it should be. If this was somewhere else, then there might be more.
Yeah.
But I feel like the one thing about it is it doesn't quite capture me maybe in the ways that the other songs of this nature have from the other albums, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I almost feel like with, say, Looking In or Outside, or even Fly Like a Bird, I can really pick the DNA of them.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe I can't hear, but I still really like it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
I feel like this is a very, you know, the final song on a lot of her albums, which is always, you know, this has kind of become a trope of Mariah's, the, you know, plaintive, very inward looking, and always the lyrics were quite heartbreaking, and often the vocals were really plaintive and, you know, kind of almost desperate in a way. And I feel like the maturity she has here, kind of talking about these things and being able to sing about them, it's in that place of acceptance, if that makes sense. Like, as opposed to trying to work something out, which I feel is what has been going on in the past. This is like I've been through some shit. It's not okay, but I'm good. I'm in a good place, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So it doesn't have that sort of raw anger or terror or misery as some of the earlier versions of this have. But I feel like it's like structurally it's stronger than a lot of those songs, because a lot of those songs feel like, you know, they're just poured out of her. And this one feels like it has been structured and created, and she's like, okay, I'm going to say some things. And yeah, it feels more reflective, if that like makes sense. Like even, you know, something like Reflections on Glitter had that kind of desperation to it. Like, please listen to me. I need to be heard. I've got, you know, some things I have to say. Yeah. And this is like, oh no, I know people hear me. I can just write the song now, and it doesn't have to be as. So I think it is fulfilling the same thing. It's just coming from a different place, and so it feels not as you know, tragically desperate. It feels kind of more settled, if that makes sense. And
maybe that's why I'm not connecting to it, because I'm not in that headspace. So I don't have that sort of perspective at this point in life. I'm still tragic, desperate.
You still want Suki Mariah.
I do.
You want broken Mariah.
And I think maybe because the production feels like a contrast to some of the rest of the album. Maybe,
but I mean, always the last song.
Yeah,
the last song on her album always feels like a very like you're like, where did this come from? Like, you know, ever since Vanishing, even though that wasn't the last song, we've always had that. Oh, what's this? What's this moment of revelatory Mariah singing just with the piano business?
And maybe this one doesn't have the pendulum doesn't quite swing as extremely in this album.
And I think that's just something that happens with age, is like the pendulum doesn't swing as far. Like, you know, like we don't have as big urgent pop moments on this album either. Like, so of course we're not going to have the pendulum swing all the way over to Misery, because we don't have, you know, crazy heady kind of dream lover honey moments. We've got Get the Fuck Out. So just if you start your pendulum at Get the Fuck Out, it's only going to swing as far as Portrait.
No, that's true. But I am glad it's here, because it does feel like you needed something to bookend, you know, to be like, this is the final track. So what are your thoughts on the overall?
Like, I think do you enjoy lyrically it's amazing, and I love her vocals are great, and it is a nice change of pace. Like, we have come off a really poppy hooky song, so to go straight into this kind of thing, you're like, oh wow, what are we doing here? And I just love the opening. Where do I go from here? You're like, oh, I've been there, sister. And you know, I feel like it's touching on everything that these songs have always touched on, like, you know, looking in, and here she's like in the looking glass, like it's you know, but yeah, I really like it. It's just on the cusp of infinity for me. Like it's just right at the edge.
It's not all the way. She's
not all the way.
She's in the carry-on. The portrait's in the carry-on.
Yeah.
Look, I'm probably around the same. Like I wrote 4.5, but then again, listening today, I was like, oh no, I do enjoy this. So somewhere around that general vibe, which brings us to some bonus tracks.
Oh, bonus track.
There are bonus tracks, starting with the fresh bonus track that's just been added to the worldwide editions, darling.
Worldwide, darling.
Runway, which was a first listen for me, written by Mariah, Priscilla Hamilton, Daniel Moore II, and Lido. I don't know. It could be Lido. I've been saying Lido, like Lido Shuffle.
Lido. Oh.
What are your thoughts on the Runway?
I really liked Runway. Like, I'm like, oh, why wasn't this here? Why did only the Japanese get a go of it?
Right. There is always a Japanese bonus track on almost every album in existence.
They love her. Like, she is huge in Japan. Yeah. Just like Alyssa Milano, who did arena tours there as well.
Maybe they toured together. This is all, it's all coming full circle. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I kind of like this one. It's weird that it's got sort of a like a looking back at fame almost vibe to it. Like and maybe that's part of why she didn't put it on there originally, because like it's meant to be a forward looking album. It's like a you know, this is new Mariah music. Let's not go too far into the background. And this is like bad things will happen. Yeah. But, you know, rise up, it'll be fine. I can see why it's not on there. It's fine. It's just like there are so many great songs on that album. This kind of it's not as, I don't think it's as good as anything else on the album. Like it's
this is the thing, because everyone was like, oh, it's a fan favorite, and I was like, oh, fun. So I pressed play and I was like, oh, I like this. Like, this totally should have been on the album, blah, blah, blah. And then kind of halfway through, I was like, oh, no, I kind of get why it's not. Like, it just kind of plateaued a little.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. Like, and by the end of it, I was like, oh, right.
And there's 10 really strong songs, and, like, you don't need an 11th. As we've discovered on albums with the 17 and 18 songs on them, sometimes one or two of them, you're like, no, it's a, like, you know what? This would have been amazing on Memoirs.
To replace your block of four.
At least like two of them could go. In fact, 6 of them could go, and this could be there. This would be great. Yeah.
I think I went in excited and then kind of came out of it going, oh yeah. And I definitely would probably not replace anything with it. Like, I think, you know, even One More Again not being my favorite, I still think I'd probably enjoy that.
Oh no, you can't replace One More Again. That's amazing.
No, you murder me. So I gave this one a 4. I don't really remember it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a 4. It's like, it's fine. It's, you know,
it's there.
Yeah.
All right, next bonus track, and it has been mentioned almost every episode,
week.
And that is Infinity, written by Mariah, Priscilla, Taylor Parks, and Eiley Juba. And we have a video.
Oh, a poshnopsis. A poshnopsis. It's a concert poshnopsis.
A violinist plays, but it's not the violinist from Masterclass. Definitely not. She's not allowed. Mariah opens doors, and then a different Mariah opens curtains on stage. Mariah is in Vegas on stage and also at home. She shows off her wardrobe and some cosmetic sponsorships. She pours a splash before spritzing some perfume and gracefully falling to the ground. Now, there's something really graceful about it. I'm going down.
I'm falling.
I'm going to do it gracefully. Now she's on a couch giving a concert to her phone and swiping right on herself and I guess some other people. Tyson Beckford's breasts show up at Mariah's house.
Oh, my Lord.
Right? And Mariah
break my heart all over again.
All right? And Mariah is rightfully horrified, but thankfully on stage there are some butterflies, so everything's better.
Everything's better with butterflies.
We get some marvelous Mariah underboob. Then another suitor shows up at Mariah's door. This one looks like Piers Morgan, only slightly less disgusting. Mariah sings some more. Then the guy from Empire rocks up with a tiny dog. Mariah correctly accepts the dog and shuts the door on Old Mate so she and the dog can take selfies. Mariah squeals while confetti falls, and suddenly Old Mate is back as Mariah has hired him as her driver.
Yes.
The curtain closes and the whole world is better for having witnessed Mariah in any form.
Oh,
I mean, it's all there.
Amazing. It's the busiest video she's done in a while, to be honest.
And it's kind of bonkers. It's like
it's
so
crazy.
I'm going to be on stage and I'm advertising Vegas, but also there's like a Tinder element. But I don't want any of that. But there is a cute dog.
Yeah.
But then I need to go for a drive. Yeah. I don't want to drive in Vegas.
Like, I love that she looks out the window and sees the giant billboard of herself. Like, that is incredible.
Look there.
It's a very Mariah moment.
Yeah. I suppose that's just her life, though, isn't it? Like, everywhere you look, there'd be
I'm on the billboard again. Hi, me.
I'm number one on the billboard, I think, 19 times.
Yeah, 19 times.
And a few times on the other charts, too. So.
Yeah.
Just noting it, really.
Oh, dear. This song lyrically is amazing. Like, this is some of the most pointed lyrics she's written in a very long time. Like, this is a total read on Nick Cannon.
Who do you think I was going to say, is it? Yeah.
It's totally Nick Cannon. I mean, you're corny like Fritos.
Oh, my God.
He was a comedian.
And a rapper. God, everything.
Oh, I know. But also, you know what made me think it, like, because she says, I was yours eternally. Mm-hmm. There's an end to infinity. And you're like, oh, I'm yours eternally. Wasn't that about Nick Cannon?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I know.
So I think I
can't believe Mariah counted all the way to the end of infinity. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like she's the only person who's ever done it.
She's got to the end of infinity, and Nick Cannon's not there. Them babies still live, but the Cannon has been fired. I mean, she's even got, like, one of the lyrics is "out of ammo, got to reload." Like, what do you reload? A cannon. Like, could she be any more
that's so
transparent
funny.
with who this song is about? Like, she's not even pretending at this point. She's like, you know what? I'm going to do a whole thing in Vegas, and I'm going to write a song about how amazingly successful I am because I'm singing 19 number ones, and I'll pop a song in about my annoying ex-husband.
She's actually counting the amount of kids he's had. It's infinity. I can't.
Infinity. It keeps popping them out with other words.
I don't know how many, but there's, I can't. Yeah, stop counting.
I don't love the production though. Like I say, lyrically amazing. Love it.
Yeah, now that you're saying all of this, I'm like, oh my God.
It's fun. It's a fun. Like, it's one of those songs, like, as I heard, like, the little bits coming through, I'm like, oh my God, she's not. I was yours eternally. There's an end to infinity. This is a great chorus.
And she does belt out those infinities.
Oh, yeah. And she just, like, it's to the back of the room. Like, this is the thing. Like, this song probably won't be in her repertoire anymore. And that would have been incredible to hear her just belt that every night to the back of the showroom in Vegas. Like, about, whoa, this is great. She's like, and she squeals for about 2.5 minutes at the end of the song. Like, it's just this sustained whistle.
Yeah.
It is, it's like, it's like she's crazily having fun with this song. I just think some of the production is a bit weird, and melodically, it's fine, but it's not. She's done better. But I think it's fun. Like, it's kind of there's a lot to recommend it, even though it's probably not my favorite Mariah song of all time.
Well, you talking about it has made me sort of lighten up to it a little bit. But I'm kind of the same. It feels like less than the sum of its parts in a way.
Yeah. Like you got a huge squeal, big vocals, hilarious lyrics.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's like, yeah, that was infinity.
Yeah. And I think that's my vibe with it. Yeah. I kind of feel like it just doesn't do anything for me, I suppose, in that respect. It's just like, I don't need to hear that again. I gave it a 3.75.
Yeah, it's for me. It's a 4. It's like the big money notes and the gigantic shade cloth, like a whole primary school playground full of shade, like one of those massive shade cloths. Like it's like that's more than enough for me. But yeah, I kind of wish it was better, if that makes sense.
Especially because it's on the number one album.
Yes. Like, but that's always the way. Like, look at the first number one's album. Like, she was throwing everything at the wall there.
Sometimes you do get a greatest hits album where they'll, someone will put something on you like, they actually, there's not many.
Not many. Very rarely.
Yeah. I feel like Britney's first greatest hits that had that cover of My Prerogative and Do Something. I was like, and they were both singles, and Do Something was probably a bigger hit than My Prerogative. And I was like, oh, good. Like you could now go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
And because they released them and because they were on the radio, you're like, oh, all of these songs were hits. Great.
Yeah.
But often, you kind of go, oh, that's the 3 songs they just put at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, well.
Yeah.
They made me do a cover of Celebration. I don't know why. And then Madonna put some rain in it and you freak out. You're like, no, everything's going to get wet. All right. The next little bonus track, which was a single as well, is I Don't, which was a first listen for me, and it features YG, written by Mariah, YG, Jonta Austin, Crystal Nicole Pompey, Donnell Jones, and Kyle West. And this was actually, from what I can tell, the only single from this era to chart on the Billboard 100 at 89. Oh. What was anyone thinking? But I don't think they all charted like on like R&B charts or other bits and pieces, but on the actual main, this was the only one, which is weird because I'd never come across it. But
and it didn't go on an album.
And it didn't go on an album, but it does have
a video.
I
think it was in the TV series. I think this was released when Mariah's World was out.
Okay,
I think this
would
was
make sense.
You got to have a song out when you make a reality show.
That's true.
So you got something to flog.
Yeah. But it does, in fact, have a video.
A posh synopsis. A posh synopsis. I don't posh synopsis.
I don't want to. All right. At Debrat's grandma's, YG performs to the camera while Mariah runs out in a wedding dress. She's now in a car, having ripped off her dress. I think this means that Mariah has married the car and this is their wedding night. I'm trying to make sense of something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Mariah lounges on it and stands on it in heels. Sounds like a wedding night to me. Mariah allows YG into the car, but only sometimes. Mariah has now changed into a black outfit because she's role-playing as Bianca. I think this is a different car. I don't know from cars, but I think Mariah is giving it a lap dance. Once again, something getting more action than James Packer. YG does his verse while Mariah sometimes shows up in a fur coat, but not the whole time because she's busy.
She's very busy.
She's very busy. Mariah shows up in a red dress because it's Christmas now and finally burns that damn wedding dress she's been teasing since We Belong Together.
Oh my God, the wedding dress.
I know. I was like, I wonder if it is actually the original wedding dress.
Oh, the Vera Wang. Oh,
I know. Because she did always want to burn it. Like, she wanted to burn it in We Belong Together. They were like, no.
Yeah.
But she's like, I'm going to burn it. But I'm kind of bummed that that it's just like a one-off song that she burned it in.
Yeah.
But no, oh well.
Also, she dresses in a bunch of like all the outfits she wears in this video, like there are a lot of strings.
A lot of strings. Like that, like I said, I think this is her honeymoon night with the car.
Yeah, right.
That's all I can get from it. Like, honestly, there's a lot of beautiful nothing. What did I say? Big budget, beautiful nothing.
Big budget, beautiful nothing.
Yeah.
But big budget, beautiful nothing with a burned wedding dress.
Yeah.
I set a wedding dress on fire once on Rove.
Oh, why?
It was like I used to get sent out to do these weird things at shopping centers and stuff. There were promotions. I don't know what there was a promotion for, but someone, I think if they burned their wedding dress, they would get some ridiculous amount of money. Like it was a prize. And so someone agreed to it. And then hilariously, the way it was going to be burned was doused in petrol, and then someone shot a flaming arrow at it at Northland Shopping Centre in Melbourne, of all places.
Oh, that kind of happens there anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a regular day outside of
Thursday.
outside of CT Lane.
Yeah, it was very strange. And I was dressed as Elvis. I think it was in a wedding dress at one point, and then I was Elvis because, you know, he married
Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you marry Mariah in the car?
I could have. Maybe that's what she was doing. Maybe she was getting Vegas married to the car.
Yes, that would make sense. I mean, it makes more sense than any other ideas we've had.
Like, did this come out like around the same time as Infinity? Like, are they kind of cousins?
I think
songs?
a little bit after.
Yeah.
I'd honestly never come across it.
I mean, it's a JD song, so it's you know, it's a solid Mariah song. Maybe that's why she burned the dress, because she's like, this is the actual sequel to We Belong Together, so I'm burning the dress.
She's decided. It's just I don't. I don't know. Like for this one, I kind of felt like, as a lot of these sort of standalone singles do, you just kind of forget about them. I think it has some fun moments. The end is the best part.
Yeah.
But I sort of didn't, it just doesn't quite feel like a single to me.
Yeah.
It feels like they wrote one song and then they put that one song out, rather than maybe having when you've written a bunch of songs and then you pick the best one to put out. So I went for a 4.25.
Yeah, it's like I quite like it. It feels quite solid, and I'm sad that it doesn't live anywhere.
We know
like
that
it doesn't have an album
when things don't live somewhere.
I know. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's about a 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. It's not even on the cusp really, but it's, you know, the video is just unhinged.
Like no,
I just don't
absolutely get it. Bonkers.
But yeah. But yeah, it's I think she had a bad run of flogging songs off the back of TV shows. Like Almost Home was, you know, as much as it is one of the best songs of all time.
Of all time.
And, you know, they used it for a full montage on an episode of American Idol and gave it a full sales pitch after that. And this got a full sales pitch during, I think it was the season finale of Mariah's World. But yeah, it just, like, it's fine. Like, you know what? This, again, would have been a great album track. But,
yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I've never, ever heard anyone talk about this song.
No.
Even within the Lamb League, I haven't heard someone say, oh my God, do you know the song I love? I don't. Because they don't. Speaking of TV shows, we've got a couple of TV shows coming up now.
Oh.
With the next track being In the Mix.
In the Mix.
The first listen from me, written by Mariah and Daniel Moore II. As the theme for Mixed Dish. There is a video, but it's mostly just clips of Mixed Dish with one of the kids sort of dancing and lip syncing, and then everyone dances at the end. So I didn't need to posh-synopsize it.
Oh, okay.
Mariah and Dem Kids are in it for about 2 seconds in the studio.
Yeah.
But that was the whole thing. Now you have said you've been watching the Mixed Dish, so tell me about the Mixed Dish. Is it good?
It's cute. Have you watched Blackish?
No, but I would like to, because I keep seeing Tracy Ellis.
So this is about Tracy Ellis Ross, her character, as a kid.
Yes.
So she narrates it. Yeah, it's something you just pop on if you're feeling, you know, and it opens with a Mariah Carey song. Like, how can that be
that's
bad?
all that matters.
Yeah.
So for the song, like, I quite like the vibe. It almost gives me Glitter vibes.
Yeah.
Something about it.
Because it's got that sample that. Yeah, it's great.
And I really like the end where she like just slows it down. It's like mix. But the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, which she hasn't done since Emancipation, is the slightly shouty verses. That I think that came up in Emancipation in one or two songs, and I was like, oh, it's not my favorite. And there's a little bit of that going on here.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I like the kind of fun party vibe that it has. Like, it just sounds like you say, like it's, you know how much I loved Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, and it just sounded like they were having fun in the studio. Yeah. And this equally sounds like she's having a ball. It's like, we're having fun. We're having a studio party. It's you know. So yeah, I think it's fun. And it's one of those things that I reckon the more you watch the show, the more you would be like, I love this song because I hear it every week.
True. Yeah, I might have to suss it out.
Like, you know, when you, what's like, there's some shows that had terrible songs that I absolutely adored. Like, I remember, oh my God, I used to love watching Roswell way back when with, you know, Katherine Heigl.
Dido.
Yeah, and Here With Me by Dido. And I went searching everywhere. I had to like spend $1 bazillion on an import version of that album because you couldn't get it anywhere.
Really?
And then like 6 months, maybe a year later, Eminem did Stan, and suddenly that album was everywhere and very cheap.
Yeah. I'm about to give you a bit of a warning, which is
Cause alert, everyone. Cause
chat. Cause chat. Because I had a really similar thing where I remember getting their second album, which had my big sort of I'm So Mature song, which was Only When I Sleep, but it also had like I Never Really Loved You Anyway, that song.
That song.
And I felt so grown up, right? And so I got the album and I was like, yes. And then they put out their cover of Dreams, which I believe was actually like coincided with Fleetwood Mac, like it was a tribute album, and then Mick Fleetwood went and played it with them, like it was a whole thing. And so that song really took off, and I think sort of made them more known worldwide. And my version of the album didn't have it. And this is when albums were like kind of the most expensive they'd ever be, which was probably about $30 Australian. And
try paying like 50 or something, I think, for Dido, because it was an import.
Well, I got so annoyed because it's almost like they took all of the original albums off the shelf and replaced it all with the ones with Dreams. And I loved the song. I'd never heard the Fleetwood Mac version, but I thought this is a great song, you know, Thunder and stuff. And then I went, and even our local service station, or the gas station for our US listeners, which never stocked CDs, stocked the new version of that album, like where you pay, like right on the counter. And I was so tempted to go and get my version and bring it in and just put it and then take the other one. But when I tell you, I searched for that song for years because it finally came out on like one of maybe another re-release of that album. But this one had like other songs and other remixes. I was like, oh, it's worth saving up for it. That was a friggin' Tintin Out remix, wasn't it? So it wasn't the one I wanted. And then I think it wasn't probably until I was well into adulthood. Like this was when I was about 8. And I reckon I probably around 26 managed to find that friggin' album in an op shop somewhere. Man. And I like frantically looked at the back going, does it? Yes.
That's like when ABBA put Fernando on Arrival, and we were all so excited because it was just a single before that and you couldn't get it anywhere.
It didn't have a home.
Didn't have a home.
And so I was very, very, like years of just being hurt over. And I remember it came on the radio once, and I had my little boom box, and it had a microphone at the top. And I was like, everyone, shh. And
I'm taping it.
I'll tape it. And then my sister was like, she decided that this was her day in the recording studio in the back seat. And I was so upset. I threw down my little boom box, and I thought I was going to get in trouble because it wasn't, you didn't want to have tantrums at my house. But it was actually one time where, because I had communicated and asked everyone to be quiet and they weren't, I didn't get in trouble. Ashley did.
Yeah, good.
So the things, she would not remember this, but the things you remember.
The things that stick with you.
Oh my God. But thank you for the cause chat. It's been a while. I had to bring that back.
Cause chat.
Yeah. Okay. We're back to normal. Go on.
Go on.
So for in the mix, look, I've gone for a 4. It's nice. It's cute. I think my favorite bits are sort of the beginning and the end.
Whoa! Yeah. It's
What about
fun.
you?
Look, it's just again, I'm 4. It's a fun, silly song. It's not Mariah's best song by any stretch of the imagination, but it's, she gives it a good old belt.
She does.
Which I enjoy. And it's fun and silly.
To the next TV show moment, we have Infamous, which was a first listen for me, written by Mariah and Jesse Smollett, and it's from the Empire soundtrack.
Yes. Which is again, Lee Daniels. So she's returning a favour, obviously. He was the producer of Empire.
And he's about to
this was season 3?
Right. Because I'm thinking we will touch on the episode. So at some point I thought we might do a few of Mariah's guest spots like Ally McBeal and a few other
You're obsessed with that Ally McBeal appearance.
Have you not seen it? You will love it.
I watched Free Guy the other day because there's a whole fantasy thread through it, like where the song's like integral to the plot, and it's kind of fun and silly.
Important is what that is. There's lighting involved in Ally McBeal, and it's acknowledged, which makes it even better. It's so good. There is a video for this, but I think it's a clip from the show, so I'm not going to sort of touch on it right now.
Although I will say, she's playing a character because I think Mariah herself wears pants in real life.
I was going to say the glittery leotard. I was like, all right.
Mariah's gone the full Birchmore. Woman of a certain age. Look at my pins, everyone. Don't look upstairs. Look at my pins.
Oh my God. So the thing about this one, and I think I need to see the show to fully sort of take in what the point is, because I actually liked some of it, but I felt like it was trying to be a few too many things at once.
Yeah,
so I was
it is.
I don't know what's happening, but that might be the character's fault.
From what I've read, it's she plays a character who's a big star who's been roped in to, try and inspire the main character to sing again because he's been a bit meh.
It's like, let's get the greatest singer in the world because that'll make him feel better about himself.
Yeah. Well, it's it's kind of like, if she agreed to sing with you, you're like, well, I better bring my A game because she's the biggest star in the world and she can sing. She's got a set of pipes in her like no one's business.
And legs, pins. We've now known.
And she sings in a leotard.
Yeah.
Turns up to the recording studio. We're not filming this. It's just I'm just singing.
Maybe in her head, like Mariah's character development, she's like, "Oh, I'm Debbie Allen. Okay, I know this character. I've just been at a dance rehearsal with my students, and now I'm just popping off to record a hit."
Yeah, just popping off to record a hit because I need more shirts.
Oh my God. So look, this is another 4 for me. I think I need more information.
I think Mariah's great. I don't like the weird breakdown in the middle with all the, vocal treatment. It's like, why is this happening?
Yeah, there was a lot happening that I was
like, why is this happening? And then, Mariah just going, oh, all right. Mariah has to squeal.
Yeah, all right, I better get on it.
I'll get onto that. It's just like,
thankfully, I'm in my squealing leotard, so we're good.
In my high voice leotard, it's all good. Yeah. But I think there's some great great moments between them. Like they do some really fun harmonies, and there's some good interplay with them. But yeah, she really does feel like a guest star. It's like, oh yeah, it's his story. I get it. And she's just like, she almost feels like a feature in this song.
My greatest acting challenge yet to not be the star.
To not be the star. She doesn't quite pull that off.
She's like, the leotard won't be too much, will it?
Will it? I'm just going to rock up to work in a leotard.
Wear it anyway.
I spoke to Lee Daniels. He's everyone's boss. He said I could wear this.
And that's what Lee's short for, leotard.
Leotard, yeah. I mean, look, and also it's got Terrence Howard in it, so it's like they're having a catch up from Glitter.
Yeah.
It's a reunion.
Yeah.
But as a song in and of itself, it feels like a cookie cutter ballad.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So did you give it a score? I can't remember.
I didn't give it a score.
No.
I mean, it's a JD special, and Big Jim Wright, I love him. And Mariah had a crack at it too. So it's quite solid, even though it's weird in places. I think it gets a 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same. Yeah. All right. On to our last bonus track, which is Unforgettable, which was a first listen for me. Now, there's an acoustic and a non-acoustic version.
Mm-hmm.
This is confusing because I'd not heard of this. It didn't come up in any of my research, but then I went on to Spotify and it was right there. And there's a Mariah Carey remix. So it's French Montana and Sway Lee, and then Mariah's gone, I can do better. So it was written by French Montana, Sway Lee, CP Dub, Jake Owler, and McCulloch Sutphin. That's a fun name. Sorry, that sounded. I'm tired. It sounded harsh. It wasn't meant to. Just shoot me in the head. So when I found the acoustic one first, and that's got the most listen. So I listened to that first, and I thought, it wasn't really that acoustic.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think they've just taken the main track and then gone, let's just add some acoustic to it. So I based sort of my thoughts on the main remix. So there's the real song that doesn't have Mariah. Then Mariah's remixed it, but it's the main version of Mariah's remix, right?
Right.
So I do think that version's a little bit better, and it does highlight Mariah's vocal a little bit more.
Yes.
And it sort of does come across as a very sort of, radio friendly, like the kids that love this track on the radio. But I think the thing that really frustrated me was the vocals are so overproduced on everyone.
And the compression is out of control.
And I was like, it's kind of ruined the song. Like, I think other nice crisp sounds on this song, I think I would have really liked it. But they just kind of went a bit overboard.
Yeah, I don't love the like with the Jussie Smollett vocals. I think sometimes that kind of vocal treatment can really work in a song. Like the one with the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. Like, I think it really works in that song. Like that kind of vocal treatment.
As if I know that song. Yeah.
But like sometimes, or Believe by Cher, it works.
Great.
It's like when it works, it is amazing. But they try it so often, and you're like, yeah, not this one.
Yeah, because I think there's a good song in there. It just wasn't allowed to shine.
Well, you know what? I think maybe it was an okay song. Then Mariah turned up and it became a better song. But those faults are with the original song. Like, his voice sounds like that anyway. And
I think Mariah's showing up highlights it more.
Yeah.
Well. Like the contrast of I'm Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
You don't need to use that on me. Thank you.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it was just this random, I was like, it wasn't from that long ago.
No.
And the original seems to have been a hit.
But
it
just turned up for a remix.
Yeah, it sort of just went over us.
Maybe she was asked to be on it, and then she was busy, and they released it. And then she's like, I've done the vocal. Oh, you've released it. Well, they're ready if you need them. And so they've gone, we'll do a remix. I mean, the same, maybe that's just the way music is now. Like, we've also got, the way Lado did Big Energy remix. Like, Mariah didn't turn up until the remix of that.
Yes.
So it's
Mariah's like, they're trying to use me. I'll just show up then, shall I?
Yeah, I will turn up and I'll sing. I'll sing in the key it's meant to be instead of you trying to bend my voice. Don't bend my voice.
for this one, I think I would have liked the song. Like, I think I actually would have enjoyed it without those production issues. So I kind of went for a 4-ish.
Yeah.
Because I think it just got a little ruined.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's not a Mariah song, and it doesn't feel like a Mariah song. I know it's on her YouTube channel, but it just feels like Mariah guesting on a song. Like, I mean, it's not as bad as Mariah trying to sing over the top of Beyonce playing the recorder on Jay-Z's record.
I forgot about it. I blocked it out.
But it's it's okay. I reckon 3.5 for me.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right,
I might listen to it more and like it more, but I doubt it because I'll get annoyed at them. Like if the chords can do it without a machine, why does everyone else need a machine to do it?
Exactly.
Like just get the chords in to go on whenever you need that effect. I would
like the chords remix. So silly. All right, which brings us to the end with some overall thoughts. So tell me about your overall thoughts for the Caution.
Caution, the album, is I feel like it's double infinity.
DP infinity.
I'm DPing infinity because it's the first time, like, I loved all of her 90s albums. I loved, I've loved a lot of her music. But I feel like it's the first time since like Emancipation of Mimi, it's the first time like everything just fits. Mm-hmm. Like I don't feel like there's a song that I was like, not this one. Like I love them all. Like, and every time I listen to it, I get something new and exciting out of it. That could be because it's, not that old. Some of these albums are older than Mariah.
Absolutely, all of them, really.
Like even the first album, like there's so many kind of weird tracks in there that you go, look, I love Prisoner, but it's insane.
It's the best. It's the best Mariah Carey song.
And
ever.
There's a couple of songs of Butterfly that you go, what is this weirdness? Even though it's like it's a great album. But I don't have that with any of the songs on this album. Sure. And I feel like this is the first time everything just feels really kind of in sync. It doesn't have the crazy highs that some of the other albums have. Like it doesn't have, like a big hero moment or a We Belong Together. But I kind of love that. Like I kind of love that it's, it's just consistent from beginning to end. Like every song feels like it belongs there. Nothing feels out of place. It's, it's kind of great. Like I feel like it's like the perfect Mariah album.
Ooh. I'm going to be very curious when it comes to rankings, darling. Yeah. For where this will slide in.
Yeah. It'll be up there, I'm telling you.
This episode is the courtesy finger for that. The courtesy fist. You
can't have a courtesy fist. Like what else is going in there?
Wow. 14 great Mariah albums. And a Santa. So this is an interesting one because this was one of the albums that I knew going in. Like it's one of the few that I knew going in and I've always enjoyed it. So I do really, but I'll preface everything by saying I do think it's a really strong album. I think it's super consistent and I think I like every song, even the one or two that I'm a bit indifferent to. Yeah. They're not bad at all.
They're not skippable.
No.
Like you wouldn't skip them.
But what I think is just interesting listening to it now is that prior, when I first enjoyed it, I didn't know 70% of Mariah's other output. Yeah. I knew all the singles and I knew a couple of the albums and this one. So in my head, I'm like, oh, this is my third favorite Mariah album, Yeah. But now having gone and listened to everything, I think the thing that stands out is it's almost that mood dependent thing where on one hand, I'm like, oh, I really like that it's consistent. So if I'm in this mood, it's the perfect album for me. Yeah. If I'm not, if I want a little more eclectic, this is not the perfect album for me. And I'll be sitting there going, okay. And that's just really, that comes down to, like I said, mood and personal preference. But I think it hit me after a few albums that had, like, especially Mariah had some wacky highs and some real low lows. So I suppose I've been on this roller coaster, like in fantasy. So then getting to this point, I'm like, oh. And maybe because this is the last we have of Mariah so far.
This is our most recent Mariah.
This is our most recent. So I'm like...
except for her re-recording of The Roof, where Brandy was shut out in the rain.
To be there. Yeah. The rain drowned you out, darling. I don't know what to tell you.
Can you be the rain? I want you to be the rain at the start. Yeah. Thanks. Oh, no, I've replaced the rain with violins. Never mind, Brandy.
Yeah, the crowd's moved on, as should you. Now, you just go wait at the BETs. I'll be there soon. She was in that audience for 3 months. But I think that's what it is. I think it's like that because we don't have the hero moment, because we don't have the soaring moment, I'm like, oh no, is this where she's left us? Whereas I think, something like if we had the fly like a bird moment or something that just feels like powerful. Yeah. That feels like a punctuation. This is more just like, that fun, good album. Like, yeah. So yeah, I think as a standalone album, I think it's really strong. And I do really enjoy it. I think as having heard the whole discography, I just want something else after it that maybe brings a bit of this and a bit of that. If that makes sense. Which is just the interesting thing of doing a whole discography. Like, I've never done it like this before. And so to find, even on albums that maybe aren't my favorite, something like Rainbow still has Heartbreaker and Can't Take That Away. And these like, oh my God, like, and I go back and revisit all the time. Whereas this maybe feels weirdly for an album that feels like they're all kind of singles. It almost feels like you have to listen to it all together. Yeah. Like, I almost feel like taking any of these songs and putting it on a playlist doesn't make sense. Yeah. Except maybe a no-no. That's maybe the one.
A no-no.
And I think the other thing that I'm not so sure, I think something I've discovered is that I'm not a huge fan of trap production. Yeah.
You have kind of alluded to that in the past.
I don't think I knew what the name was. Like, yeah. We talked a little bit about the plinky plonk of the Afanafi of Snuffleupagus. Yes. But I don't think in the last, since she's worked with him, I was able to exactly pinpoint what it was that I didn't love about certain beats. Yeah. And it's the trappy stuff. Sometimes I like it, but I think some producers just use it a little much and it feels to me a little repetitive. Yeah. But listening to this album, it's not on every song anyway, but the one or two times I was like, oh, I think that's why. Yeah. So there we go. We learned something about me.
We learned something about Posh. She doesn't love the trap.
I don't know trap. Don't know.
Which is ironic given that's how you meet people. That covered hole at the front of your house. Oh my God.
That sounds more like a glory hole, but okay. Hey. Your favorite song from Caution?
My favorite song from Caution. I think it's like I want to say all of them, and then I just want to say get the fuck out. Because it's so fun and silly and she's having a ball and it just feels like it sets the tone for the whole album. It's like this album is going to be kind of intimate feeling and it's going to be a slow jam and I'm going to swear sometimes and
I'm going to say fuck a bit.
Yeah. And I'm going to kick some people to the curb. So yeah, that'll be my favorite.
I think my favorite has to be a no-no.
A no-no. A no-no.
The attitude is just so strong in this one. The force is strong, darling. Whatever that means, because I haven't watched Star Wars. Yeah, and I just love that she's translating. Yeah. And she's doing that on her hand. We're sampling. We've got the little Kim. It's such a fun song. And a fun video. Big budget, beautiful nothing on a train. Great.
Big budget, beautiful nothing. The Mariah Carey story.
And your least favorite? This will be halfway.
Can I choose Runway? or do I have to choose from the 10? I mean, it's on the album now.
I suppose if you whisper something else, maybe is there any that you know?
I don't know.
I've broken you.
Yeah, like maybe The Distance would be
okay. Yeah,
which I really like.
Yeah,
and then depending on how I'm feeling, maybe Portrait. Maybe I'll jump out at 8th grade.
okay.
Depending on the day. But I do love Portrait in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, yeah, either Runway or The Distance.
Okay, I can handle that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think it's One More Again. Like again, it's not a bad song.
Oh, how rude.
It's just I don't know. It's just the one that I'm kind of like, okay, maybe because everything else, everything about that song is elsewhere on the album. Is maybe where my head is.
Also, maybe because you've just come out of a 6-minute song and you didn't hate it, that you had to hate the very next thing that came before.
Exactly. Yeah, it broke me. And I didn't know what to do.
You didn't know what to do having enjoyed a 6-minute song.
Yeah. I didn't. What does one do after that? I don't. Do you just drop dead? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's never happened before. All right. So overall score for Caution. I mean, you've given it a double infinity already, so we don't even need to touch
double infinity. It's amazing. It's perfect.
And for me, as someone who understands numbers, I'm
a true Mariah fan, and my maths is no good.
Mine's normally not either. Maybe that's why I'm so bad at this. So I've gone for the consistent score, which was 4.5, which for me is actually quite high because I'm looking.
That's really high.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these other scores. And this was the thing. I think the whole time I was like, I know this is a good album. But for some reason, I think it is just because of the whole journey we've been on. Yeah. It just played differently to me this one time. But I think outside of the context of this, it is one that I would go back to pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it is the one where she's like, I'm going to give Phil what he needs. And that's 3.5-minute songs with 1 6-minute one that you could do a radio edit of if you wanted to.
6-minute song.
So I don't want to say where it's going to fit in amongst the other albums because I think we're going to do a little bit of a countdown, darlings.
I love a chart.
We do love a chart. So we're going to rank our
I'm going to rank them all at number 53.
And also at Infinity. But yes.
Yeah. Number 53 is Infinity. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. They are the same number.
They are the same number.
Infinity comes to an end sometimes, as Mariah has told us.
Apparently.
Yeah.
We will
anymore.
We'll do a little countdown from least to most favorite, which I think will be very interesting.
They'll all be favorites, but they'll just be a least.
They'll all be favorites. Yeah. Exactly. I think
I don't want this to be one of those countdowns of best to worst because I hate.
No, it's not best. It's not best to worst. It's least favorite. So still very great.
Yeah.
It's a great Infinity great.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting because I think people will have an idea maybe as I've gone along. The ones that have stood out, the ones that haven't. But I think for you, this might be difficult.
Well, yeah, because I'm not going to go with what my original scores were. I'm going to put them all on the floor and judge them
and just point
by what the covers look like.
Exactly. That was a great album, but I didn't like the front cover, so it's going.
That's my least favorite. Beautiful, expensive looking nothing.
Yeah. What did I call it? Big budget.
Beautiful
nothing. Yeah. But this does mean that we are almost home. All right, so
that's not even how that song goes.
It's not even how it goes. Julie Andrews is
either of them.
No, but as we mentioned, there will be a little bit of a countdown.
Why isn't this section called "Get the Fuck Out"?
Yeah, how about you
get almost home.
Maybe it can be. Maybe it can be somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Face.
Yes.
Somewhere else. So we did mention that there's going to be a little countdown in a few weeks.
Yes.
But next week, I don't want to give anything too much away, but I will just say that I think things are going to get a little regular.
So much here. Regularity. It's going to be, this is going to become the Metamucil cast. There'll be so much regularity. So regular.
So
the
regular.
Most regular.
Yeah.
I mean, should we just say what's happening, or do you want people to just
I kind of want people to
hear it when it happens?
What is happening? I think I want people to hear it when it happens.
Okay.
But I think, like Stranger Things, we're going on an adventure to an upside down world.
It's all inverted. The regular verse, as we've established, is a very frightening place that we may become trapped in for some time.
But yeah, it'll be very interesting. So I'm looking forward to it in a tentative kind of way.
I'm terrified of the regular verse.
There's a monster that lives in the regular verse.
There is a monster that lives in the regular verse. Her name's Posh.
I just vacation there. I'm not the boss of the regular verse.
No one's the boss of the regular verse. Not even the boss is really in charge of anything in the regular verse. I think she just turns up.
Just on the billboards.
All right. Well, that is next Mariah Monday when we visit the regular verse.
Spooky.
Me, I am a memoir in the regular verse.
Okay. Right, until then.
Bye,
and then maybe never again. Bye, Emily.